What's up, YouTube? What up, Mac heads? Got a short story for you today. It's about the first time I got a 115 in prison. Welcome to another episode of KM Videos, True Stories. Welcome to another episode, KM Videos, True Stories.
I get my roll on, you know what I'm saying? Rolling down the street in my city car. Oh, I hit front, back, side to side.
For my love, my dog, the pimp, the hog.
Check it out.
Khakis dope, sweatshirt and low soul.
That was it. I never stopped banging. I started banging hard, then I got so hard till it was a shame.
Welcome to another episode of KM Videos, True Stories. Today's story takes place in Tehachapi, California, level 2 prison, and it's about the first time I got a 115. So a 115 is a disciplinary action for the administration when a prisoner is not following the rules. So I got a write-up, and I'm going to tell you about that. So when I hit the level 2 yard or the 2 yard, you know, they had a big chow hall. You walk into the chow hall, you have a couple minutes to sit down and eat. At the rear door, the exit, there's usually going to be an officer or maybe two correctional officers sitting there watching what's going on in there, and they'll be able to lock you in or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Holler at you if you're not dressed right or you're doing something wrong, stole some extra food or something, right? And so they had this little metal bar. They had this, I don't know how to explain it, but it's a bar. And a lot of the men used to put their foot up on there, just sit up there and kick it. There was this woman that used to do the same thing. And she was a white woman. She was like a redneck. Sometimes she had like some sandy blonde hair. Sometimes it'd be more light brown, gold type of hair, right? So of course she was doing some dyeing with her hair. And I couldn't even tell you how old she was based on her race and the way she looked. She could have been younger. But so the corrections officer used to wear like these tan shirts, these tan khaki shirts, and they would have these like green slacks, these slack pants. And this woman would jack her leg up on the bar too. And when she would do that, you see this whole coochie cut. You see the lips and everything. I don't know if it's because I was in prison and I ain't had none in a couple years or that's factual. But you could damn near see the blonde hairs through that sucker if you let your imagination run wild enough. But it was like that thing right there in your face. It was attractive. She didn't have that perfume that really got you like some of the counselors in there, right? But you're not supposed to look at these women in prison, right? So I had heard stories about this woman where she wrote people up for staring at her, right? But she's cocking it up, doing it on purpose, you know what I'm saying? She know what she's doing, she a woman. So the building that I stayed in, number 7, she was next door in 8. And so they upstairs. So she would also come outside on the stairs and smoke her cigarettes. She always smoking cigarettes, and she would do the same thing. She would just post up, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes have her leg up against the wall. And it's like she's teasing brothers. That's the only way I could put it. But she was not attractive, right? So dude wasn't trying to holler at her on that, but, you know, horny dudes was looking. Ain't nothing wrong with looking. God gave you 2 eyes. Use them. But he also gave you a brain. You can use that too sometimes. And it was a whole cast of characters that worked on that yard, right? You had this dude that looked like the Skipper mixed with the Incredible Hulk. Like he got the body of a Skipper but got the hair of the Incredible Hulk. I believe he died in a trailer, in a fire in his trailer. This dude was real big, man. Like twice the size of Lyle Alzado. Looked like he put Lyle Alzado on his ass if he played on the offensive line. And he used to walk like he was on super swole, like Tookie. Had his hands out like he had two burners on each side of his hip. I remember there was an incident on the yard one time, and this fool come running. You know, he looks like a serious action figure, so he's running toward the incident. And I remember him falling flat on his face. Instantly, he went from this big old tough guy to this goofy ass clumsy guy. Then you had this chick that looked like Patrick Swayze. So we called her Patrick Swayze. Looked like a straight man. She thought she was hard too. Another pink face, red face chick. Looked like the sun been burning her up for years. You had this dude that looked like Gilligan Gonzalez. You had Connor. Kind of looked like the dude on Chips, the blonde one. You just had all these cast of characters. You had this hood rat like broad from Compton worked in there. But this particular woman, she probably had a prosthetic leg because she used to walk with a hell of a limp. And we used to call her Broke Hip. Broke Hip was her name for those that didn't stay in her building. She always limping like it was hard for her to walk, right? But she had this gap like a cowgirl, like she'd been riding horses all her life. Like it was a permanent gap. And she was one of the women that always kept fresh clothes on. So her clothes was always fresh. Other than that, I couldn't imagine her being fresh in anything. She just looked wild and dirty. That's the type of woman she looked like, you know. Not to be judging her, but that's what she reminded me of in my mind. Always smoking them cigarettes and just flicking them out. Like she was having a ball doing that shit, right? But, so one day, man, I got some 501 Levi's. I got 2 pair of 501 Levi's, right? So I decide I'm going to cut one and have some 3-length 501 Levi's. Don't ask me why. I don't know why. I just wanted some 3/4 length Levi's like khakis, right? For the life of me, I don't know why I did that shit, but I cut the Levi's, and you're not supposed to do that. I mean, it's my property. Why I can't do it, right? So, I mean, this was like a throwback, right? You know, Levi's go back 100-something years, but they became popular in the 50s. And they're a durable set of pants, right? The pockets don't tear, the pockets don't fall off and all that old stuff. And they're durable pants. You can wash them as many times as you want, stuff like that. And so I like my 501 Levi's. So I cut them. I think I'm fresh. I think I'm cool as hell. Right now, I think I was silly. I think I was goofy. I think they should have laughed at me and ran me up off the yard. But at the time, I thought I was cool as hell, thought I was different, thought I was funky fresh, if I was a rapper. So one day, I go out on the yard, take some flicks, ain't got no muscles. I'm skinny as hell, no muscles. Levi's probably like nowadays, them Levi's would be some skinny jeans on me. But back then, you know, I thought I was fly and shit. And so I go out on the yard, I take a flick, and I'm like, yeah, man, this flick hard. I don't know who I'm gonna send a flick to, either my mama or my baby mama, right? And so I'm out on the yard, I'm walking around like, yeah, you know, ain't got nan compliment. Not one compliment, nobody called me cool, fresh, none of that shit. But I'm like, yeah, all right. You know what I'm saying? I know I'm fly out here. Ain't nobody fucking with me that day though. Usually, you know, the homies gravitate toward me or I gravitate toward the homies, and you know, it's gonna be a 60 thing or it's gonna be a neighborhood thing, you know what I'm saying, or West Side Crip thing or what have you. But I feel like a loner. I feel like a sore thumb or something, you know what I mean? But anyway, so I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna go back in, you know what I'm saying? I ain't playing no sports today. I ain't playing no spades. You know, this picture day for me. So I start to walk back to the building. And this heifer gonna yell out, hey, hey. I'm looking around. Hey, come here. I'm like, man, I ain't finna come over there. She like, stop right there. You better come here now. She get on her radio. I'm like, fuck. So I go on over there. I go up the stairs and shit. I want to look at her anyway. Not her face, but, you know, her body, right? And go up there and shit. I'm like, I know she's smelling good. Bitch smell like a tobacco farm. Smell like straight tobacco. I'm like, damn. Face red as hell. Neck red as hell. Like her suntan didn't work. Her suntan became a sunburn. So I'm up in there, and she said, come in my office. Oh, shit, am I going to get the hit? Am I going to get to see something? I'm like, I'm kind of curious now. I'm getting a little bit turned on. And then she pulls out this paper. She gets to writing on this shit. She tells me to sign it. I'm like, what is this? She's like, oh, need you to go take them Levi's off and bring them back to me. I'm like, what? She said, yeah, you can't cut your pants in here. I'm like, these is mine. She's like, you can't cut your pants in here. I'm like, wow, like really? So I want to cuss her out, you know what I'm saying? But I feel so stupid because I'm thinking, my mind is all over the place. I'm fantasizing only to get a 115. Man, I was mad as hell at that bitch. Every time I came outside, I looked the other way. I looked the other way every time. Couldn't stand that hoe. And so, yeah, they wrote me up and shit. And I got that disciplinary action. Gave her them Levi's. She said, you can send them home. Give us an address. Man, I ain't sending that shit home. I wish I would wear that shit on the street. Nigga, this ain't the Dickie days on the east side with the high top white socks. Remember the Michael Cooper socks back in the days? But yeah, so that's my story for the day, man. My first 115. Hey, y'all have a good one, man. I got better stories than these for those that's new, those that's passing through. But still, click that like button, man. And please subscribe to the channel. I give you something better, I promise. I'm out of here, y'all. Y'all have a good day.
This is what